Ladies and gentlemen, Christmas came early this year because ghetto Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett's career is finally over. Jasmine Crockett will soon be out of our lives for good after the Supreme Court allowed Texas to redraw Jasmine's district into a +20 Republican district. And instead of going gently into that dark night, Jasmine's self-obsessed narcissism has forced her to go out in the most humiliating way possible and embarrass herself on the national stage one last time for us by running for Senator of Texas. As always, like the video and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you watch till the end because we have Sonny hosting on The View fully endorsing this decision. But let's start with this hilarious clip of how Jasmine Crockett chose to announce this massive soon-to-be failure.
She ain't never scared and she ain't never been. Who is willing to go toe-to-toe against the president? I can't wrap my head around someone who votes Republican. She advocate for feeding kids, they protect folks touching them. Trump invading his own country with our army, what a joke. We remember Pearl Harbor by illegally bombing boats. What y'all thought we wasn't gonna do nothing but think again. They only trying to scare out of running cause they think she'll win. Listen, thought I told y'all we ain't never scared. Now look who name on the docket. Got 2 words for every racist bigot. Jasmine Crockett.
Jasmine Crockett already degrades and disrespects black people with her fake ghetto hood rat persona because she thinks that's who black people are. And she launched her Senate campaign by further expressing her low opinion of black people by offensively pandering the same way Kamala Harris did and assuming that black people have no idea what you're talking about unless you conveniently put it in a rap song for them. This clip perfectly embodies the absolute clown show this campaign is about to be. Just offensive pandering, racial divisiveness, victimhood identity politics, and of course, anti-Trump rhetoric in Texas. But in this next clip, she takes the stage and unveils her even ghettoer new accent and preemptively makes a ton of excuses for why she's most likely going to lose because she knows she has no chance.
When Texas turns blue, it won't be because of any one candidate, but because of each and every one of you doing your part. Turning Texas blue is what I want to talk to y'all about today. Now, there are those that say, ain't no way, we done tried it 50 kinds of ways. Let me be clear, y'all ain't never tried it the JC way. We used to telling us what I can't do, but they have no idea what Crockett's crew will do. And so I just want to be clear, for all the haters in the back, listen up real loud. We gonna get this thing done. When people come together, so I'm asking you to tune out those intrusive voices that say she can't win because she's black, because she's a woman, or because she's a Democrat. If you believe women should be in all spaces, then I ask you to stand with me.
Jasmine Crockett's delusional ego doesn't allow her to realize her time in Washington is up. Instead, she believes the people yearn for more Jasmine Crockett. But deep in her soul, she knows she has no chance of actually winning. That's why she has to lay the foundation for all of these excuses, racism, sexism. That way, when she loses, she can conveniently point her finger at all of society, rather than take accountability for the fact that she's an extremely unlikable and incompetent person. She has no legislative track record. She has no history of bipartisanship. She's not a skilled orator or a clever strategist. She just sees politics as her path to being a celebrity and is desperately trying to cling on to that attention by any means necessary. She isn't running on the platform of trying to help the people of Texas and make their lives better. No, she's running on being an anti-Trump candidate, the guy who Texas voted for, plus 14 points. And she made this clear in the video she dropped on social media announcing her run for Senate. That is literally Donald Trump talking the entire time. Take a look.
How about this new one they have, their new star, Crockett? How about her?
She's the new star of the Democrat Party, Jasmine Crockett. They're in big trouble.
But you have this woman, Crockett. She's a very low IQ person.
I watched her speak the other day. She's definitely a low IQ person. Crockett. Oh, man. Oh, man.
She's a very low IQ person.
Somebody said the other day she's one of the leaders of the party. I said, you got to be kidding.
Now they're going to rely on Crockett. Crockett's going to bring them back.
Jasmine Crockett is a pathetic one-trick pony, and that one trick might have worked in her old extremely blue district, but it's certainly not gonna work in a statewide election in Texas. Her brand is being a loud, obnoxious, rude, undignified caricature of a hood rat black woman. Because instead of being a respectable, intelligent, well-spoken, high-class black woman, being an actual role model for young black girls to aspire to, Jasmine Crockett doesn't think that resonates with the black community. She thinks the black community wants to see sexy red in Congress. Jasmine Crockett thinks black people want to see LaWanda from the block giving these old white guys a piece of her mind. Because Jasmine Crockett is trying to be what she thinks the black community values. And every black person should be deeply offended that Jasmine Crockett, who went to a $50,000 a year private high school, is acting like a complete buffoon in the United States Congress and simultaneously saying this is what a real black woman looks like. And because of that, the black Republican Senate candidate Wesley Hunt absolutely destroys her.
Get your reaction.
When I first became a public defender, I had no criminal defense experience. And I walked in and I told my boss, Charlie, I said, listen, you should hire me. He said, why? I said, because I'm black. Charlie looked at me like I was crazy. And I said, let me tell you something. When I walk in, I'm gonna walk in with a level of rapport and understanding that maybe some of my other colleagues will not. Charlie offered me my job, and I worked my butt off, and I worked really, really hard for all of my clients, not just those that look like me, and that is what it looks like to serve.
Maybe in the end she was qualified for that job. What do you think of that story and the way she recalls it?
Well, you can't have it both ways, and Jasmine and I just don't see the world the same way. I don't want to walk in a room and get a job because I'm black. I want to walk in a room and get a job because I'm qualified, because I am educated, because I have hard work, grit, determination, because I believe in this country. That's why I am a United States congressman in a white majority district that President Trump would have won by 20 points, and I just won by 27 points. And the reason is because of this. I am literally living Dr. Martin Luther King's dream. I'm being judged not by the color of my skin, but by the content of my character. The people in my district don't see color. They see somebody that's going to represent this district to the best of their ability, regardless of what they look like.
Jasmine Crockett just admitted she got a job solely because she was black, but will be the same person who is deeply offended that we see her as a DEI candidate. She is bragging about being a recipient of DEI, but will simultaneously say she's more qualified and deserving than any white man on planet Earth. And her explanation for why she ought to be hired because of her skin color was so she could better relate to other black people, but then said she served non-black clients just fine. So if she can serve non-black clients just fine, why can't non-black lawyers represent black clients just fine? And black conservatives like Wesley Hunt and myself are called coons simply because we don't think we need a lower set of standards because our skin color gives us some biological disadvantage. We believe in ourselves and believe we can compete with anybody no matter what race, and want our merits to be the reason why we're afforded opportunity, not because of something as arbitrary as our skin color. People who advocate for policies like DEI and affirmative action are basically just begging white people for sympathy and for pity, that we're incapable of playing the game on our own and competing with other people. They're literally begging white people to treat us like we have a learning disability or something. They're the ones begging to be seen and treated as second-class citizens who have no shot at success unless we get some preferential treatment. And despite Texas being a +14 Donald Trump state, Jasmine Crockett already shoots her campaign in the foot on day one by saying she doesn't need any Trump voters in Texas. She's gonna win anyway.
How will you make voters who previously have voted for Trump, particularly given that you have been an outspoken critic and he has inserted himself, just take your campaign video as is. He has inserted himself at every turn when it comes to your commentary. How will you convert those who are supportive of him to voters for you?
Yeah, I don't know that we'll necessarily convert all of Trump supporters. That's not our goal.
Do you need to?
Our goal is to definitely talk to people No, we don't. We don't need to. Our goal is to make sure that we can engage people that historically have not been talked to, because there's so many people that get ignored, specifically in the state of Texas. Listen, the state of Texas is 61% people of color. We have a lot of good folk that we can talk to. We know that when Beto came really close, Beto, who is a progressive, we know that he got 65% of the Latino vote. So what did they do after that? They specifically went after Latinos. We know that he got close to 90% or right there at 90% of the African American vote. So honestly, what we need to do is start talking to the vast majority of Texas. I think my message is very much a mainstream message.
So Jasmine Crockett's clearly already chosen her strategy for the campaign, which is to appeal to the victimhood mindset of minorities and say, vote for me because they're racist. Vote for me because they're sexist. Vote for me because I'm going to stand up to Donald Trump. It's not a campaign of substance. It's a campaign of slogans and talking points. Her strategy is to persuade black people that everything is white people's fault, and then position herself to be the strong black woman that's going to be a thorn in the white guy's side. And one of the lies and false promises she's already leveraging to try and get the black vote is saying black people shouldn't have to pay taxes. Watch this.
Just this past week, I saw, I don't remember which celebrity, but it was actually a celebrity, and I was like, I don't know that that's not necessarily a bad idea, but I'd have to think through it a lot. One of the things that they propose is black folk not have to pay taxes for a certain amount of time, because then again, that puts money back in your pocket. But at the same time, it may not be as objectionable to some people about actually giving out dollars. But obviously then you start dealing with the different tax brackets and things like that. And that's one of the reasons that, you know, we argue the reparations make sense, because so many black folk, not only do you owe for the labor that was stolen and killed and all the other things, right? But the fact is, like, we end up being so far behind, right? And so it's like, how do you bring forth people? Exactly. And so it's like, if you do the no tax thing for people that are already, say, struggling and aren't really paying taxes in the first place, it doesn't really, exactly.
They may want those checks like they got during COVID.
Exactly.
So her plan is to capture and exploit the same racial division that she helped foment and get the black vote by making false promises that she has no ability to keep. This campaign is an absolute comedy sketch, and it's going to crash and burn in spectacular fashion. But the last thing I'm going to show you is the one person on planet Earth who is excited about Jasmine Crockett running for Senate. None other than The View's Sunny Hostin.
I wanted to see that kind of energy. I think we need an opposition party. I don't think we need business as usual. I think Zohran Mamdani proved that. I think that that you would have said, you know, years ago, there's no way that a black senator and a Jewish senator would be the senators representing Georgia, but they are. So I think
how about a black president?
How about a black president? There have only been 14 black senators in the history of this country. Only 2 black governors in the history of this country. I think she could be the 15th black senator in the history of this country. Remember, Texas has 3 million black voters, the most black voters in the country. More than Georgia, more than Florida. And I'll also say this, Texas is gerrymandering, the Texas Republican are gerrymandering her district. So her district is now going to be a Republican district.
Maybe I'm giving Jasmine Crockett too much credit, but I think even she's smart enough to know if Sunny Hostin thinks this is a good idea, it is doomed for failure. Sunny represents the complete opposite ideology of Texas. And because she lives comfortably in her $10 million house, she can afford to endorse politicians who run on being in opposition to Donald Trump, not running on affordability or crime or economic opportunity or a strong border, which is a huge deal for Texas. Jasmine Crockett's ideology and politics only work in extremely blue enclaves. She is so unlikable and so deranged. She single-handedly motivated all Texas Republicans to come out and vote to make sure she does not get into the Senate. Another less polarizing Democrat still wouldn't have a chance, but they'd at least have a better one than Jasmine Crockett. But But ultimately, she has no chance at actually winning Senate. Her deep blue seat is gone, so we'll never see her in the House of Representatives again. And before her career in politics finally comes to an embarrassing conclusion, I'm sure she will give us many more humiliating failures to laugh at. But let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Turn on those notification bells so you never miss a video. And I will see you guys in the next one.